All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a pretty big question today. What exactly comes after postmodernism? I mean, what's the cultural vibe we're all living in right now? If you've ever felt like you're being pulled in a million different directions all at once, well, this one's definitely for you.
You ever have that feeling where you know all the reasons you should be cynical about the world? I mean, you've seen the news, but at the same time, you still have this, desperate desire to actually believe in something good?
Or how about this one? The constant tug of war between using irony and sarcasm as a kind of shield, but also really craving a genuine, sincere connection with people. You know, you're making a joke, but you're also kinda not.
If any of that sounds even remotely familiar, then guess what? You are so not alone. You're actually tapping into the core feeling of our time, and it has a name: Metamodernism.
Okay, so let's get into it. What exactly is this concept that seems to perfectly capture our kind of strange contemporary mood?
So at its heart, metamodernism is what people say came after postmodernism, but it doesn't just throw out everything that came before. Instead, it kind of oscillates. It swings back and forth between two huge cultural moments: the hopeful, earnest vibe of modernism and the super skeptical, critical eye of postmodernism. And this is a really important point. This is not some stiff, rigid philosophy with a bunch of rules. Think of it more as a structure of feeling. It's like a shared mood or a common vibe that helps us make sense of the world right now.
And to really wrap your head around this, there's a central metaphor that just explains it all perfectly.
Picture a pendulum. That's the best way to think about metamodernism. It's always moving, always swinging from one side to the other. It never really rests on one pole or the other. Its whole identity is found in that movement between them.
So here are the two poles the pendulum is swinging between. On one side, you've got modernism, all about enthusiasm, big ideas, sincerity, hope. And on the other side, postmodernism, which took a sledgehammer to all of that with irony, skepticism, and cynicism. Metamodernism is that constant, restless swing right in the middle.
The theorists who first coined the term put it this way: it swings between enthusiasm and irony, hope and sadness, a kind of childlike naivete, and a deep-seated cynicism. It's that constant back and forth, that negotiation, that really defines this whole metamodern feeling.
So, where did this idea even come from? Who gave us the language to describe our weird world? Let's meet the people who put this whole thing on the map. The whole conversation really exploded back in 2010 with an essay called Notes on Metamodernism. In it, these two guys, Timotheus Vermeulen and Robin van den Akker, made a pretty bold claim. They said the age of pure detached irony was basically over. It just felt tired. I mean, with huge things happening like the 2008 financial crash and climate change, just being cynical wasn't cutting it anymore. We needed something new. And I just love the way they describe this new feeling. Informed naivete. That's it, right? It's knowing all the reasons you should be jaded, but choosing to be hopeful anyway. Or pragmatic idealism. You're dreaming big, but you're also keeping your feet on the ground. It's brilliant. Then, just a year later, the idea jumped out of the academic world and into the art scene. An artist and writer named Luke Turner published the Metamodernist Manifesto, and it was basically a call to arms for this new spirit.
The manifesto just totally embraces this idea of swinging back and forth, calling it the natural order of the world. And it ends with this fantastic, energetic command: go forth and oscillate. It's all about embracing the mess, the complexity, the contradictions.
Okay, so this all sounds a little bit academic, right? But how does this structure of feeling actually show up in the stuff we all watch and listen to and read?
So once you have the language for it, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's in the gut-wrenching sincerity and the razor-sharp irony of Bo Burnham's Inside. It's in those quirky Wes Anderson movies that somehow manage to be detached and full of heart at the same time. You can feel it in these massive, sprawling novels by writers like David Foster Wallace and Zadie Smith, and even in the cosmic country music of Sturgill Simpson. And hey, this isn't just us critics slapping a label on things after the fact. The Daniels, the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once, have actually come out and called their movie a metamodern film. And it's a perfect example, right? It swings so wildly between total nihilism and this incredibly profound, heartfelt sincerity.
And this idea goes way beyond just movies and TV. People point to the architecture of firms like Herzog and de Meuron.
Their buildings are constantly trying to bridge these huge gaps, negotiating between things like culture and nature, or the finite and the infinite.
Okay, so why does any of this actually matter? What's the point of having a word like metamodernism? What does it really do for us?
It gives us a vocabulary. It gives us a way to talk about what it feels like to be alive right now. It helps us make sense of trying to be hopeful when everything feels cynical, or trying to be sincere in a world that's dripping with irony. It basically says, hey, it's okay that things feel meaningful and completely ridiculous all at the same time.
And this quote from Timotheus Vermeulen it absolutely nails it. We get that big, grand stories can be problematic, but we also feel like we kind of need them. We've been taught to be suspicious of hope and to make fun of love, but we're starting to realize we need them now more than ever.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. In your own life, your work, your relationships, how you see the world, where do you find yourself swinging back and forth? Where do you oscillate?